Hi, my name is Isaiah Phillips, and today I will be answering question 1, of course, and question 4. Question 1 is asking, begin by reflecting on key themes and concepts presented in chapter 2. What stood out to you the most? Was there anything that surprised you or challenged your previous understanding of educational history? With this question, I am going to be referring to education in the Middle Ages. What stood out to me the most about education in the Middle Ages was how limited access to education was compared to today. Most formal education was available only to wealthy families, clergy members, or those preparing for religious life. The church played a major role in education, and many schools were connected to monasteries or cathedrals. This highlights how education was often viewed as a privilege rather than a right. One aspect that surprised me was the development of some of the first universities during the Middle Ages, such as the University of Bologna and the University of Paris. I had assumed that higher education was a more modern concept, but these institutions were already offering advanced studies in subjects like law, medicine, theology, and philosophy centuries ago. Their influence can still be seen in modern universities today. Now moving on to question 4. It's asking, discuss the relevance of studying education history for educators today. Why is it important to understand the roots of our educational systems? How might historical insights inform contemporary debates and practices in education? Understanding the roots of education helps educators recognize how society's values have influenced schooling. For example, early colonial schools focused heavily on religious instructions and moral development, while later schools emphasized literacy, citizenship, and workforce preparation. Over time, education expanded to serve a more diverse population and become more inclusive of students with different backgrounds and abilities. Knowing this history helps educators understand the reason behind reforms such as public education, special education services, and equal access initiatives.